Why is it that actually, because you were talking about how one of the things that made you kind of interested in milk in the beginning was that if you're not getting it from a mass-produced source like you would at the supermarket, when you taste real milk before they do all that stuff to it, milk can taste different from every single cow. It can taste different from every single farm. Why is that? What is it about milk that we're not experiencing as normal supermarket, milk consumers?
Because it is a main thing is that milk is just a product to start to do something with it for something else. Eat it with your porridge, or in the States with your cornflakes.
Oh yeah, man.
I like it as well. So it's just not the and it's, of course, if you milk cows, you get a lot of milk. It's if you just have a cattle of in the Netherlands, it's something like general is something like 100 cows a cattle, and if they are low producing cows, then it's 15 liters a day, and then it's still a lot. So it's in the States it's something like 600 cows in general, so that's much more. Yeah, well, I mean, but you have much more land, so it's okay. So it's in that case it's I understand why it become that way, but it's a pity because it's okay that the big lake of milk is there, but it's a pity because to only do that with it. So I'm really happy in what's going on here in the Netherlands in the last 5 years. So something like 6-7 years ago, I started as a milk sommelier. And the milk world in the Netherlands looks different nowadays. If you go now to the shop here in the Netherlands, you can choose things. I want to refer especially to 2 ones. For me, it's a really nice start. If you go to a big supermarket, there are now 2 new brands. One called Mijn Melk. And Mijn Melk was the first one who did something really interesting. Mijn Melk is a product that was created by a big firm called Lely, and they are into milk robots. And what's really about milk robots is that the cow can decide when she wants to be milked. But what's really interesting about it that the robot can recognize the cow, so they know that it will be Aaltje 38, and she only or Betsy or maybe even Weaver or something.
Daisy. So
but
the robots recognize the cow.
The cow will recognize the cow and knows, and also testing how much lactose, protein, fat is in the milk.
Wow.
And also if the cow get medicines, or there are some problems with some disease, the robot can recognize it, and then you can put your milk out and throw it away.
This is here in the Netherlands.
It is international. Wow. Lely is big.
Wow.
But it's nice. It's about robot in general. So we can have other type of robots. You have many type of robots, not only Lely, but Lely is a big one. So what you can do with that, if you recognize the cow and you can measure the lactose and fat and that sort of thing, then the idea you can also use the robot not to throw away the milk when it's bad, but also to put it away when it's good. And that's what they decide to do. So they create a new system around it to just take the milk out and put it in a bottle. And what they did is they have the line of 4 or 5 cows can be milked and put it in a bottle. So that what they create the first Mijn Melk was that they just say, okay, there are family lines in the cattle, the aagjes and the antjes and that sort of thing. So they put all the aagjes just in one bottle and all the antjes also in one bottle.
What are those? I don't get what you mean with the aagjes and the antjes.
Antjes is the name of the cow. So the weavers and the batches and that sort of thing. So they decide.
Here,
we have batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, batch 4. And so 1, 2, 3, 4. So they put all the batches just in one bottle and they say, okay, this is the milk from batch. And for all the batches family line, and this the milk from all the aagjes family line.
And so you said the thing, and this is another, I guess, key difference between, like, say, milk and wine with the sommelier thing, is you said that milk is rarely ever treated as like this is the thing, the finished thing you're going to drink. Like, yes, of course, people drink it for breakfast and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's going into cereal, it's going into a baking dish, something like that.
There's no attention to it.
Yeah, and wine's not like that. Wine is like, it is the product. And so you're saying that's part of the problem, is that people treat it as not the finished product, that it's just going to go into something else. But I mean, personally, milk is actually one of my favorite things to drink. And Dutch people always kind of think that's weird. They say, is it common in the US to drink milk? But it actually is. I mean, we used to drink a glass of milk for breakfast every day. You know, you'd have it just kind of as a snack or something like in the afternoon.
But in the Netherlands, it was also really general. It's really nice to know that in Europe, we are the tallest persons because we drink a lot of milk.
So
and we have less obesity problems here in the Netherlands because we drink a lot of milk.
But so how would people, I mean, how could a normal person like actually taste some milk that might be where they would be able to appreciate the differences in it like you can with wine? You have to just find milk that hasn't gone.
Yeah, but that's, to go back to the Lely story, that's my milk. But then we have Elke milk. Elke milk is really intriguing because they do the same. They use the milk robot, not from Lely, but from another company. And they created a new system behind it. So what they now created is that the milk of the cow, from just Aagje 38, is going into the bottle directly. So from milking to bottling is something like 12 minutes. So they're creating a pasteurization process and cooling process in just 12 minutes from milking to... So what Lely did was just putting the family line in one bottle. But what Elke milk does do is that they put the milk of that cow in one bottle.
So, okay. So now you can go to the grocery store and you can know which cow you're getting.
Yes. And what's also interesting, because the robot also measured the lactose and the fat and that sort of thing. So they're creating a system of crosses to say how much lactose, fat, or protein is in the milk.
Right.
So if you go to the shop, it's really nice. If you go to the shop and you buy Elke milk, you never know what you get. So if you want to have Aagje 38, Aagje 38, it will be difficult because it changes all the time. So what you do, you just pack your bottle of milk and you see at the crosses how much lactose, protein, and fat content is in there. And if you take another one, this is Aagje 38 and this is batch 15, and you see there will be different. So it's really nice if you just take 3 bottles, they will be all different. So it's a really nice way to just learn as a consumer that milk is not always the same.
Yeah.
And 5 years ago or 7 years ago when I started as milk sommelier, that was my dream.
Really?
And it's now in the package. And for me, it's just the first step. So there's much more possible by using that robots, because otherwise it's too cost expensive to create some sort of system if you do it by hand. So
the technology innovation has kind of allowed it to become more mainstream. That's fascinating that now you can actually go to the grocery store and see, okay, well, this one has this lactose, this one has this fat, and you maybe start to learn, I actually like high lactose milk, or I like high fat milk, or
but
whatever.
You can also decide, that the protein and fat is high in a sort of, so it's something like 4 crosses both, then you know that's also good to foam for your coffee. And you don't, and if you take with low of high lactose and low fat and low protein content, it will not foam. So it will also do something else with you, not only drinking but also using. Or you think, oh, it's nice, there's a nice high protein level. Oh, maybe it's good for pancakes because it's better for a thicker
pancakes.
So it's interesting. So it's a good start to experience as a consumer. And and you see other type of milk. So you see now milk from the farm. At Albert Heijn, there's a milk from the farm, and it's not homogenized. And in the beginning, especially if you go to the supermarket, all milk is homogenized.
And homogenized means they just try to make it the same, like all of that milk?
No, that's standardization, but homogenization is real about the fat. So what they do with the fat, they put into some little sieve. Sieve is the correct word, to make all the fat bubbles as small as possible and even. And because it's small, it doesn't float anymore. So you have no texture. But if you just leaving the fat content intact and also the sizes of the fat, so if you small fat and bigger fat, and so it will float, and then you have texture. And texture, every chef can tell you that texture is real big part of your flavor and tasting experience.